Canucks fans, let's be brutally honest for a moment. Remember that gut-wrenching feeling, that sting of regret when a captaincy was stripped and Bo Horvat, the very heart and soul of your team, was shipped off to Long Island? For 2.5 years, we've lived with the aftermath, watching the Vancouver Canucks navigate a landscape where a once proud strength, the second-line center position, has become a gaping, undeniable void. It's a cruel twist of fate, isn't it? To trade away a player who perfectly filled a critical need, only to find yourself desperately searching for that exact piece years later. But what if the answer to Vancouver's most pressing problem isn't a new face, but a familiar one? What if the path to redemption, to reclaiming that crucial piece, involves a move so audacious, so steeped in irony, that it could only be described as a blockbuster do-over? This isn't just about a trade. This is about a franchise grappling with the ghosts of decisions past, a fan base yearning for return to stability, and a bold proposal that could rewrite a chapter of Canucks history. We're going to dive deep into the audacious pitch to bring Bo Horvat back to Vancouver, dissecting the proposed deal, the complex history that led to his departure, and the tantalizing yet potentially painful implications of such a reunion. Get ready, because the echoes of what if are about to get very loud in the Pacific Northwest, and the prospect of a beloved captain's return is stirring emotions that have long been dormant. It feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? That fateful period 2.5 years back, when the Vancouver Canucks, in a move that sent shockwaves through the hockey world, traded away their then-captain, Bo Horvat, to the New York Islanders. It was a blockbuster ahead of the trade deadline, a decision born from a confluence of contract negotiations, roster retooling, and a perceived need to shake up the team's core. At the time, the move was framed as a necessary evil, a painful but ultimately strategic pivot for a franchise looking to redefine its future. And to be fair, in the immediate aftermath, the trade seemed to work out relatively well for both sides. The Canucks, leveraging the first-round pick they acquired in the deal, shrewdly brought in Filip Hronek, a defenseman who has since become a key piece of their blue line. On Long Island, Horvat, true to form, continued to be his usual steady, reliable self, providing the Islanders with a strong two-way center and a consistent offensive threat. Yet, despite these individual successes, a broader truth has emerged in the intervening years. Neither team has truly seen their status as contenders fundamentally altered as a direct result of that trade. The Islanders, while benefiting from Horvat's presence, haven't ascended to the upper echelons of the Eastern Conference, and the Canucks, despite acquiring Hronek, have found themselves in a peculiar predicament. Fast forward to 2025, and Vancouver's most glaring, most pressing need is precisely what Bo Horvat used to provide: a strong, reliable second-line center. It's a cruel twist of fate, a stark reminder of how quickly a team's strengths can erode and how past decisions can echo loudly in the present. The very position that was once a cornerstone of their lineup has become their Achilles heel, leaving fans and analysts alike wondering if a different path could have been taken. As the Canucks continue their arduous search for an upgrade down the middle of the ice, a bold and almost unthinkable proposition has emerged, one that has ignited a firestorm of debate and speculation. Dave Benson of Heavy Sports, with a flair for the dramatic and a keen eye for irony, has proposed that the Canucks go all in to bring Bo Horvat back to Vancouver. It's a move that, on the surface, seems like a fantastical journey back in time, a reversal of a decision that once felt so final. But Benson's rationale is rooted in the Canucks' current undeniable need and the tantalizing prospect of a beloved former captain returning to fill a critical void. The proposed trade package is intriguing, suggesting that Vancouver would send a trio of promising prospects, including Aatu Räty, to the Islanders in return for Horvat. Let's break down the proposed deal. The Canucks would receive Bo Horvat, while the Islanders would receive Aatu Räty, Victor Mancini, and Aku Kiskenvuo. Benson articulates the strategic logic behind this audacious proposal with compelling clarity. In this revised landscape, he explains, Horvat is less of a burden and more of a strategic buyback for Vancouver. Acquiring a strong second-line center aligns perfectly with their current needs. For New York, getting depth, youth, and flexibility might outweigh holding on to an aging contract. This isn't just about sentimentality, it's about addressing a fundamental roster imbalance for the Canucks. Horvat, a proven leader and a consistent 20 to 25 goal scorer, would immediately slot into that second-line center role, providing stability, two-way play, and a much-needed offensive spark. His presence would allow other players to settle into more natural roles, creating a more balanced and formidable lineup. But perhaps the most fascinating and indeed ironic wrinkle in Benson's proposal is the inclusion of Aatu Räty. As Benson points out, one interesting wrinkle, the trade package going back to the Islanders could include Aatu Räty, who was part of Vancouver's return in the first Horvat trade. Räty, currently a center/forward in the Canucks system, has shown development and upside. Including him in the deal would add a homecoming reversal flavor, with the Islanders regaining a player they once gave up, now potentially further along in his development. Imagine the narrative. A player acquired in the original Horvat trade, now being used as a key piece to bring Horvat back. It's a full-circle moment, a testament to the unpredictable nature of professional sports, and a narrative thread that would undoubtedly captivate fans and media alike. Räty, a young center/forward with developing upside, would offer the Islanders a chance to reclaim a promising asset. Alongside Victor Mancini, a defenseman prospect, and Aku Kaskenvuo, a goaltending prospect, the Islanders would receive a package of youth, depth, and future flexibility. Assets that could be invaluable for a team looking to retool its roster. However, the path to this homecoming reversal is fraught with significant obstacles, primarily centered around Horvat's current contract. The 30-year-old center has 6 years remaining on the 8-year, $68 million deal he signed upon being dealt to New York. That's a substantial commitment both in term and cap hit, and it significantly impacts the Islanders' incentive to move him. With so much term left on his deal, the Islanders have absolutely no reason to rush into trading Horvat unless someone comes to the table with an offer they truly can't refuse. They are not under pressure to shed his salary, nor are they desperate to move on from a player who continues to be a productive member of their roster. For the Canucks to pry Horvat away, they would likely need to sweeten the pot considerably, perhaps beyond the proposed prospect package, or find a way to make the salary cap implications more palatable for both sides. This isn't a simple transaction, it's a complex negotiation that would require significant maneuvering and a willingness to pay a premium. To truly understand the emotional weight and the layers of irony embedded in this proposed trade, we must flash back to the 2021-22 season and the tumultuous summer that followed. It was a period of intense speculation and difficult choices for the Canucks. JT Miller, a dynamic forward, found himself at the center of a whirlwind of trade rumors, with teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins reportedly circling. Both Miller and Horvat were heading into the final year of their contracts, set to expire after the 2022-23 season. The writing was on the wall. The Canucks, facing salary cap constraints and a need to commit long-term to one of their star centers, had to make a choice. It felt as if the franchise had made up its mind on which star center to keep, and all signs pointed to Miller. However, a Miller trade never materialized. Instead, in a stunning turn of events, the entire situation flipped when Miller re-signed on a massive 7-year deal to stay in Vancouver in early September. This monumental contract, a clear commitment to Miller as a cornerstone of the franchise, effectively put the writing on the wall for Horvat's future as a Canuck. With Miller locked in and the team's financial resources allocated, there simply wasn't room for Horvat. We all know how that ultimately ended a few months later. Horvat, the captain, was traded. Initially, the decision to choose Miller over Horvat seemed to be the right one. Miller took control as a vocal leader, a heart and soul player in Vancouver, and was producing at the best rate of his career. He was delivering on the massive contract, seemingly justifying the franchise's faith in him. But here's where the narrative takes another bitter, ironic turn. The very player they chose over Horvat, JT Miller, whose massive contract was supposed to solidify their future, has also ironically departed amidst locker room turmoil that reached a boiling point in the 2024-25 season. The specifics of Miller's departure are still shrouded in some mystery, but the outcome is painfully clear. Now, neither Miller nor Horvat is around, much to the chagrin of Canucks fans. The decision that was supposed to secure their future down the middle ultimately led to a complete void, leaving a gaping hole where a strength once stood. This entire saga, from the initial trade of Horvat to the subsequent departure of Miller, leaves you wondering how differently it all would have played out if Jim Rutherford, the Canucks president of hockey operations, had a do-over. The proposed trade for Horvat isn't just a transaction, it's a chance to rectify a past decision, to bring back a beloved player who perfectly fits a critical need, and to inject a much-needed dose of stability and leadership into the lineup. It's a high-stakes gamble, certainly, given Horvat's contract and the assets that would need to be surrendered. But for a team desperately searching for answers, for a fan base longing for a return to past glories, the prospect of Bo Horvat donning the Canucks jersey once more, even if it's a homecoming reversal facilitated by a player acquired in his original trade, is a narrative too compelling to ignore. It's a chance to write a new chapter, one that might finally bring a sense of closure and perhaps a renewed hope for contention. So, what's your gut feeling about this audacious proposal? Does the idea of Bo Horvat returning to Vancouver fill you with excitement, a sense of poetic justice? Or does the complex history and his hefty contract make you wary? Perhaps even a little cynical? And how much do you think the Canucks' past decisions regarding Miller and Horvat play into their current predicament? Share your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about this potential do-over for the Canucks. And if you're captivated by the drama and irony of the story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive, in-depth reports on the most intriguing stories in sports.